This is the Great New York 100-mile race, and this is an event that's put on by Phil McCarthy, who's a pretty well-known ultra runner here in New York City. And this is the belt buckle that you get for completing the race there.
Nice.
That's from this year's race. This is from the previous year's race. So we did the 100-miler this year.
Who knew New York has a 100-miler race?
Yeah, it's pretty low-key. If you're kind of in the ultra running community in New York City, you probably have heard of it.
It's just a third year, so it's not that new.
It's getting bigger, yeah, for sure. It's getting bigger, more popular. Yeah, I think there were 50-something people that finished this year, and it's an amazing tour of New York City. You know, it's still, of all the races that I've run across the country, it's one of my favorites because you start in Times Square, you run up to the Bronx, you're out in Orchard Beach, and you started at 5 a.m. So you're at the beach, you know, at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. There's nobody there, and then you run down into Astoria. You run all the way out to Bayside, Queens, and you're running through Flushing Meadow, and people are playing salsa music and barbecuing and playing in the park, and you run all the way down to Rockaway Beach, and the sun is setting behind you, and you run from Rockaway to Coney Island. I think we were in Coney Island around midnight. We didn't know that the Mermaid Parade was the same day as the race, right? And we're just like, is this what Coney Island is like on a Saturday night? Like, maybe we should come check out this party, like, because it was just like trash. There was just like papers and cups everywhere.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You would think they would clean up rapidly.
Well, they were in the process of cleaning it up at that time, but it was just like, well, I don't know what they're cleaning up from, but this must get crazy at night.
Now, what kind of landmarks? I mean, how did you know where to go? Did you get a map? Did you?
Yeah, there's some directions in the course. The course has some markings they do with chalk markings on the ground that, you know, Phil and his team tirelessly go out and put these markings out for us to follow. And there's also, yeah, there's a sheet with directions that kind of tells you where to turn. But you definitely have to look out for it. It's a navigational adventure as much as running one.
It's like the great race kind of thing, you know, because you
yeah.
got to hit your marks.
Yeah.
And I guess they have aid stations.
About every 6 miles, there's a volunteer aid station, which, you know, a lot of them are pretty minimal with just water and Gatorade. But, you know, a lot of these people, they just, out of the goodness of their own hearts, bring chips, my favorite. They bring chips.
Well, for you, it's chips.
And pizza, and candy, and soup. You know, in Sheepshead Bay, somebody has a stove. Actually, I should shout out to Jess Woods and her team out there. They have soup and a tent and a chair to sit down in and drink soup. It was great.
It's great. I could point you to the next way.
What got us really hooked on ultras is the fact that it's this kind of laid back, this party atmosphere. It's like a family atmosphere almost, and it's just people are out there to have a good time.
Yep.
We're not trying to qualify for Boston. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
that's a good one.
This has been a Gotta Run with Will moment.